Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
Alrighty then. Pleasant good evening, 98.9 WINN FM. Want to say good night to everybody locked on to 98.9. Is on the ball. It's on the ball. 98.9. I'm feeling it for Biff once again. Share the life, share the life. It's an informative program where we talk sports. I got my cricket team here with me once again. Yeah, nice for them to come back and keep my company, ain't it? Yeah. But don't forget the number to call is 466-0989. Or if you're on the US line, it's 718-285-6984. If you want to join the conversation. If you want to join the conversation, if you want to weigh in on the conversation, we are talking sports, all right? What I'm going to do is take a short commercial break once again. And then when I come back, I introduce my guest, all right? It's 98.9 WINN FM, share the live. Tag somebody, call somebody. Let them know it's on the ball.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
All right, and we are back from a commercial break. It's 98.9 WINN FM. And as I said, I have some guests here with me this evening. We're going to be talking cricket. Lovely, lovely, lovely cricket, as my partner Biff will say. I want to say good evening to everybody locked on. It's 98.9 WINN FM. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over into Studio B. And I'm going to introduce my guests here with me this evening. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
Yes, good night, good night. Big up to WINN FM and Tough House. Well, good evening once again to WINN FM on the ball, talking cricket tonight. Hope everyone is listening and calling their friends, calling their family, telling them to listen to one of the number one sports program in St. Kitts on the ball.
Yes, I. That is it. That is it. I like that introduction. It's a great introduction. Guys, what's up in the cricket world, man? Tell me about cricket.
Well, we're here to specifically talk about the cricket that we're going to have in Molineux this coming weekend on the Saturday 24th and Sunday the 25th. It's one of the first type of cricket. It's a fun festival in honor of one of the legends from Molineux Keon Cricket Club, Noel Gishard, who is one of the top cricketers that St. Kitts have produced over the years. He played cricket for Molineux Keon, he played cricket for St. Kitts, played cricket for the Leeward Islands, played cricket for the Combined Islands, and has been one of the main coaches for a very lengthy time after his cricket career completed in 1984. He went into coaching. So a lot of our cricketers of the past and present should be familiar with Noel Gishard, and we're hoping that we can honor him this coming weekend and give him his flowers while he's still living, showing that we appreciate all the fun that we had, because this Noel Gishard is a guy that played when cricket in St. Kitts was very competitive in the Leeward Islands, when playing against Nevis or Antigua had every Kittitian fan on their toes, and he did a lot of that joy, gave a lot of joy to us in terms of competitiveness. He went on, as I said, to play for Leeward Island. That's more joy and more cricket pride. And over the years, he has been coaching and helping our young cricketers to reach their cricket dreams.
Yeah, it's good to be here again at WINN FM to show our appreciation to Noel Gishard, a stalwart in the sporting game of cricket. We have to big him up, as we said last interview. We have to give people their flowers now that they are alive. Don't wait until they are gone, and then, yeah, that is when we're giving them their flowers. So we're doing it before. Yeah, so it's a good initiative that we came up with, me and Sylvan Blacklit and a couple other guys, to get this whole thing together. There's a lot of excitement going on. People in the village very excited about the whole thing. The guys them who playing for different teams also are very excited.
Before we actually break into the fun of the day, I'd just quickly like to give a short bio of Gishard career, very short one. You know, for those of you all who may not be familiar with him, who may not be aware of his status. Gishard made his first-class debut in January 1981, playing for the Leeward Island in what was then an annual fixture against the Windward Island. On debut, he took 2 for 42 and 5 for 50, helping the Leeward Island to a 7th victory over the Windward. A few weeks later, Gishard made his debut for the Combined Island in the 1980-81 Shell Shield season, the final season in which the Leeward and Windward actually played together. After that, they played separate, as we know, Leewards and Windwards. He played exclusively for the Leeward. During the 1981-82 season, Gishard took where to this day is his best first-class bowling figures, 6 for 33 against the Windward Island. His highest first-class score was an innings of 85 made against Barbados during the 1983-84 season. Gishard was regular in the Leeward Island team throughout the 1980s and into the early 90s, playing his final match during the 1991-92 season at the age of 34. He finished his first-class career batting average of 22.84, making 7 half-centuries in total, and his first-class bowling average of 29.68. Gishard went down in history as one of the first Leeward Island player in West Indies first-class cricket to make over 1,000 runs and get over 100 wickets. If my memory serves me right, I think he was the first and Ellen Baptiste was the second. And this is one of the achievements that he achieved, which is not done by too many. Gishard also scored one of the biggest double centuries in our domestic cricket, playing for Molyneux's, 260-something not out. And, you know, he was, as I said, an all-arounder, mostly known in first-class cricket for his bowling and fielding and somebody who could bat. But in our domestic cricket, he was a batsman, and he was the type of player that probably could have made the Leeward Island team as a batsman if he had choose to focus solely on his batting. But he contributed in all area. And as I said, with figures like these and for over 10 years of giving us excitement that we turn on our radios and we could hear his name performing. We even had the time when he failed, and you know, think it's when it comes to cricket, any sports. You know, our fans, when we're up, we're lifting you up. But when you start going down, we're beating you to get up. So he's one of those who got it both ways. He gave us some exciting times, and also we gave him some tongue lashing whenever he failed.
Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to On the Ball. My apologies for running a little tardy.
Hey, good evening,
But
good evening.
Gishard, I would say unfortunate really not to make the West Indies team. As part of his bio Sylvan, could you read the first part again for us?
Okay.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. You're listening to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. We have in studios with us 2 members of the inner city community. That is Molyneux, for those of you who don't know. And that's a community that is, I should say, that community has been really strong in sports, producing some tremendous cricketers, and right now doing pretty decent in football in Virgin Territory. Trevor Fates and Associates, Molyneux Pit Bulls, right now they're 4th, they were 3rd, and they were just bumped down. And that's Virgin Territory. They've never been there before.
Definitely.
They've been like 6 and 7 and 8 and so in the first division. But if they keep on going, I could see them being promoted to the first division, to the Premier League sometime. But you ready for us on that first part of the bio, please?
Okay, I said Gishard made his first-class debut in January 1981, playing for the Leeward Islands in what was then an annual fixture against the Windward Islands. On debut, he took 2 for 42 and 5 for 50, helping the Leeward Islands to a 7-wicket victory. A few weeks later, Gishard made his debut for the Combined Islands in the 1980-81 Shell Shield season, the final season that both teams played together. After that, they separated, where Leeward Island played by themselves and Windward Island played by themselves. And I said last week, Gishard, along with 2 other villagers in Winston Davis, sad to say because he passed away, but Winston Davis, along with Livingston Harris, Luther Kelly, and Ricky Basu, and manager Ricky Skerritt, was part of the first Leeward Island team to win the West Indies Cup as a team. So that was a great achievement, and Gishard played very important roles. I could remember in Jamaica, we were 66 for 6. And between Gishard and Harris, they took us to 127 because we bowled out Jamaica for 100 and something. It was a bad wicket, but Gishard, during that season when Leeward Island won the competition, Gishard batting and bowling was exceptional. He was one of the standout players for Leeward Island, along with Harris. And as Biff said earlier, he was one of the unfortunate players from St. Kitts who did not make the West Indies side. I could remember when Kerry Packer came about, when West Indies lost a whole team to Kerry Packer, and Derek Parry and Kali Cheran were the only two members of that squad that stayed to go to India. And before the team was selected, when we were expecting the Richards and the Laras to go, Gishard and Harris' name was called regularly. I remember Tony Koza on several occasions had both of them in his team. And unfortunately, Victor Eddy, Noel Gishard, made it to what was then to us the second team. So, yes, Gishard has proven his worth and have been a player that we feel with just a different location in terms of birth, playing cricket, would have easily made the West Indies side.
That is interesting information. I knew Gishard, well, not from around those times. I was following cricket slightly. My uncle, the late Andrew Weeks, may his soul rest in peace, he was an umpire, and I remember him going, when he actually went to Antigua to do his exam, he lived across the road from my mother. His mother had died, my grandmother. So my mother was basically their cook, himself and Neville Manny Weeks. And good night, Uncle Neville, how you doing? And good night to all the listeners tuning to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. So I think that sort of encouraged me to get into the umpiring. I was following cricket a little bit because my father used to kind of listen it, and he believed he was a cricketer. He believed he was a fast bowler. The fastest thing about him was his run-up, which was very slow. But in '84, he started umpiring, and that time Molyneux had a team by itself.
Yes.
And so I remember guys like Gishard, I remember Wade, I remember Harris, Alden Warner, who worked with me eventually at the then Scantel. And I can't remember too many other players, but those players stand out. And they continue playing. I remember the year when Gishard got the double, like you mentioned, the 100 wickets and 1,000 runs. And that's a feat. I'm not certain how many players in the West Indies have gotten that in first-class cricket since then. And even the averages you mentioned, Sylvan, he could have probably walked into the West Indies team backwards today if he was still playing with those sort of averages.
Right.
And what really do you believe inspired the Molyneux community to, in the first instance, get involved in cricket and then produce such tremendous cricketers?
Well, as you say, you and I probably came up around the same time. I remember when cricket used to be played with two divisions, first division and a second division. And I could remember you playing cricket, I playing cricket myself. You had a brother, your brother was very good in my opinion, and with a little more love for the game and discipline, could have been one of our better cricketers. You know what I mean? I remember you played for Sandy Point. We had some rivalries.
Yes, I was trying nothing really.
I grew up around the time with St. Kitts cricket. At an early age, around 10, 11, I started to love the game. I started to being a part of the game, watching the game, learning the game, being a scorer, and then eventually made it onto the Molyneux team. But very early, in the days of Edgar Gilbert, Molyneux was always one of the competitive villages. We participated in what then was Ural cricket, when that was very, very competitive cricket. And in 1980, I think we were accepted. I'm not sure about the year, but either 80, 81. We were accepted. Molyneux were able to get their team into the Cricket Association First Division, which it was very difficult then to add a team to the teams that we had. And Gishard, Edgar Gilbert, Livingston Harris, Winston Davis, those are the names you were able to use then. Because at that time, to get into, as a first division team, first of all, you had to have a certain amount of players that made the trials for St. Kitts the year before, and the criteria was very tight. But we have always, in Molineux, won when it came to cricket. We were competitive, we were always at a high level. And like you said with football, we played a lot of football too, but for some reason Molineux never were able to produce teams. We were able to produce individual footballers. People like Cornell Gilbert, who played all around the island as one of the goalkeepers. His brother, Felix Frederick, he played for the national team, cricket and football.
And football, yes.
Yes.
As a police officer.
As a police officer. So we had that individuality. But I'm going to add something to it because I'm a proud inner city boy. We were top guns in cricket. We were top guns in volleyball.
Sure,
I remember saying his national team will be going abroad to play with 12 players, and 10 of them was from Molineux, 1 was from Sandy Point, and Quinlan was from Bastille. That was the team. And similar in netball. We had like Dawn Pennyfeather, who played for the West Indies netball team, her sisters, the Gilberts, same Gilbert, we had Kemelita Gilbert and her 2 sisters, they played netball. We had Don Brown, we had so many great sports people from the inner city. But cricket is one of the game, it's the game that I think we gravitated to as fans. There was never a game played in Molineux that didn't have an audience. And that is why we came up with the idea of this, make it a fun festival. Because we felt that cricket has deteriorated, not only in St. Kitts, but largely in Molineux. As you said, they're doing great in football now, because that's what the kids are gravitating to. So we feel by acknowledging someone who contributed in the past, that could elevate the cricket back to where it was and get the interest of the kids. Like, that's why the game that we're playing is a very fun game. We have some crazy rules that gonna excite the fans. Like in our game that we're playing is 7 aside. You're gonna have 10 members on a team. You could sub in players at any time. No batsman will be allowed to make over 25 runs. So after you get to 25, you automatically, your innings is over. Retire. We're not going to have any bowl overs. You're allowed to bowl 6 balls. If you bowl 6 wides, that's 42 runs, because every wide you're going to get the maximum run that is allowed for a delivery.
That's 6 runs.
That's 7.
7
runs.
Yes, that's
and
true.
Well, with a no ball, it could be up to 13. Now you could bowl a no ball and you could get it hit for 6, and then you have to add 7 on it. So, yeah.
Hold on. You bowling to me.
Yeah.
You bowl a no ball.
Yeah.
You get 1 for the no ball. I hit it for 6.
No. If I bowl a no ball, the team is going to get 7.
7, okay.
Automatically.
1, and whether it's a dot ball or we run one. Okay, let's start with the dot ball. If it's a dot ball, we're going to get 7. That's what you're saying?
Yes, you're going to get 7.
Suppose I hit it over the boundary for 6 now.
You get 13.
I get 13?
Yes.
Why, I better bring in a team over. I like that creativity, like you mentioned. It's fun, and you're correct. When you mentioned the crowds in Molineux, there was a point in St. Kitts cricket where anytime there's a game in Molineux, that's where the biggest crowd would show, for whatever reason or reasons.
Schoolyard.
I don't know if maybe when you look down past the field, you're seeing the seawater, which is therapeutic. I don't know, but Molineux produced the biggest crowds in cricket for quite a good while. But these fun rules you're telling us, 1 for the no ball, any runs you get. So if I get 3, if I run 3, that's 3 and 1 for the no ball.
No, 7.
And then So even if I want 3, I gonna get 7?
You're going to get 7 plus the 3.
7 plus, okay, 7 plus the 3. Wonderful. How many teams has the registration been going so far?
Well, registration is going very well. We boasting 10 teams at this moment. I could say for sure we have 9 already. Promising, yes, that we're there. Got the farms in already from everybody. So you have teams like Lodge, Trailblazers, Jaguars, K.R. Falcons, Young Guns, Softball Smashers, Strikers, Old School Warriors, and Boys Underground. The registration went very well. People was very excited, just telling them about the whole function and all of that. Yeah, that's something good they are doing. By a long time, Molyneux want this and bring back the spirit and the liveliness in Molyneux. So we didn't have no problem with the registration.
Are you accepting, if I want to bring in a team tomorrow, would you accept me, or even on Friday, would you accept that? Put another way, is there a deadline for registration?
Well, the deadline for that was Friday.
Or was Friday
But
gone?
we will take exception still. We basically trying to get one more team. Somebody came for a farm, so that person is trying to get the team together right now. That will be the final team.
That's interesting. And what? Give us the time again. What time are you starting?
Right.
Well, we starting Saturday at 1 p.m. and we're hoping that we could take it down as close as possible to the semi-finals. The reason for that is that Sunday we are going to be starting at 11, but we're going to be finishing around 3 o'clock because there's another activity that's going to be on the grounds. In fact, there's going to be a football game with the same Pitbull, Trevor Fridge Pitbull, playing against Lodge, which is like a rivalry game.
Grudge match.
Grudge match. So
And Lodge doing well right now too.
both teams doing well.
Definitely.
So we actually we were planning to use the whole of Sunday, but because of this event, we came together and we're gonna hit it out of the grounds hopefully by 3 o'clock. The winning team is getting a cash prize of $1,000,
That sounds good, man.
and the runner-up is gonna be getting $500, and we're gonna have some awards like best batsman at the festival, best bowler, best all-arounder, and they are gonna get prizes as well. We haven't decided whether they're gonna be monetary prizes or they're gonna be products from
Some of the sponsors.
other sponsors.
Yeah.
Talking about sponsors, we were open for sponsors. We are still open, and we have gotten good response from the community, especially people in Molyneux and Keon. For those who we asked, they all have given or agreed to give. We are always open for more sponsors, in the form of whether monetary contribution or assisting with stuff for the event. Like, for example, we're going to have a bouncing castle for the kids, and we're going to have free eats and drinks for the kids, because we're trying to make this an event that's going to draw the interest of our younger.
That's tremendous stuff, man. So the 3 kids I have up St. Peter's and the 2 I got in Keon and the 3 I have cross St. Paul's, I could walk with all 9 of them.
Yeah, you could walk with your grandkids in the States, so.
Biff, you won't get in trouble. Somebody can say, Biff got so much children. Yeah, but everything going smooth so far.
But may mention them from Nevis here. But I like this idea. I think it's a tremendous idea. I don't believe we do enough recognizing our own. King Fancy had a song a few years ago. A king has no honor in his own country.
True.
And we've seen it too many times. The funeral for the late Winston Wade Davis, the amount of cricket he played, the way he impacted our lives in St. Kitts and the Leeward Islands and beyond. I am not certain enough cricketers or
Yeah,
enough
true,
cricket administrators showed up
True.
to,
We were
to
saying
that,
the same thing
that-
too.
Yeah, actually, I was part of that funeral, and I was disappointed in that capacity as well. I felt the support, for whatever reason, everybody has a different opinion, but based on his contribution to local cricket, to St. Kitts cricket, you know what I mean? There wasn't no cricketer that during that time that didn't know Wade Davis. He was just that type of player. He was very quiet, unlike Gishard, because Gishard was more verbal. Gishard was going to be able to take his licks and argue his way out. Wade was just going to play. And it just same thing with Harris. And that is one of the idea that brought us to this decision, because we have lost some great cricketers. Edgar Gilbert, he got his roses when he was alive. Thank God he was able to get the playing ground to
Correct.
name after him.
Correct.
Winston Davis. We still have people like Livingston Harris who have contributed. And when we look around St. Kitts and the whole, Sandy Point, the Laplaces, you look at the Victor Eddies, you look at the Luther Kellys, the Sholan Williams. These are players that made us glued to our radio to listen St. Kitts and Leeward Island cricket, and they gave us a lot of joy. And when we look at, they have contributed, but what have we given back to show?
What do they have to show for that?
They have nothing to show. They don't have a street. They don't have a day. Like James Harris, congratulations to Mansion. They did a great job. They have one of the better win ball competition, and they started it after James Harris.
Back in 2000.
Back in 2000. A next player that played great cricket for St. Kitts, Leewards, and Combined Islands. And who? Next one, probably if you were born somewhere else, could have easily been on West Indies side.
Having mentioned those names, is there any consideration given to some event to commemorate some other event to commemorate Harris, for example?
Eventually we spoke about that, me and Sylvan, before we even venture into this, what we're doing now. Say that we will try different versions. For instance, maybe a double wicket, name it after somebody else in the village, and different other tournaments. And we mentioned everybody like Livingston Harris, Edgar Gilbert, Winston Wade Davis, and numerous other people. That's our plan. This is going to be an annual thing, but we venture off into others too, and naming that exact thing after every cricketer that we know was at a high level in Molineux.
You know what I'm here thinking about? A fun competition. Say 5 overs. One, all players must bowl an over. So that's 5 players, 5 overs. But not only that, if you bowl right-handed, for this competition, you have to bowl left.
Oh.
And if you bat left, for this competition, you have to bat right.
That will be fun.
So
Yeah.
I think
That's
that
fun.
would
That's fun.
That's a good
that
idea.
should
That's a
bring
good
about
idea.
some good excitement.
Yes, that's
But
a
then,
great
but then
idea.
Biff, you got to remember, some people could bat and bowl both ways too. Eh?
Tough luck.
that's-
Yeah, that's correct. But tough luck. Hey, tough luck. You have to do it. But
That's your gift.
But I think these fun things, and that's perhaps one of the things that will bring back cricket, bring back
Yes.
spectators to watch cricket. The Cricket Association, I think they're thinking about having 2-ball cricket sometime at the end, starting the end of this month or thereabout. And if that materializes, that'll be tremendous, because we haven't had that for how long? 10, 15, 20 years? I'm not certain. We haven't had it.
No.
Plus, this event you're doing, especially if it's annually and it's held this early, this could act as something to jumpstart any cricket competition the St. Kitts Cricket Association would hold. I think that is a tremendous idea. But gentlemen, we have our next guest in studio. So could I give you gentlemen 3 minutes to wrap up?
Okay.
Any things you want to mention, any sponsors you want to call, remind us of the name of the event, remind us why we're having it, remind us of the times and the places again.
Okay, as I said, We thank you a lot, Biff, for really having us here. We thank WINN FM. We thank On the Ball because it gave us an opportunity to reach out to the public and let them know what this event is all about. It's a cricket festival in honor of a stalwart cricketer from our village. His name is Noel Gishad, and we are hoping that this could give him some recognition and give him some flowers while he's alive. And at the same time, very important to us, it can revive the cricket in our area. We're hoping that we could take this tournament and make it an annual event. And as you asked, we are thinking of working with the St. Kitts Cricket Association during the year where we could have more events like this in honor of our cricketers who have passed away and who is still alive. Because cricket is at a point in the West Indies where we are looking for cricketers, in my opinion. If you just follow the recent 2 matches that we had with our under-19 boys and with the West Indies senior team, it continues to go down a path that is not healthy for the future of cricket in this area. And we in Molineux would like to make a start in changing that in St. Kitts, not only to revive cricket, but it's to get cricketers and the public to look at cricket as a revenue as income. We really want Molineux people who we feel, as you said earlier in the program, that are gifted village when it comes to sports, particular cricket, that some of these young guys that we have, some of these young ladies that we have, could look at this game and realize they could be rich. They could make money and a healthy living out of it. And it's playing something that means you're doing something that you love. Many of us have a 9-to-5, a career that is a burden to us because it's work. Cricket is fun, and you're getting paid, and you could really make a healthy living, and it's not as difficult as it was back then when we had all these great cricketers competing for a 12-man team. Now, we have maybe 1 or 2 really solid players you could say, he's a sure pick. You know, there's areas, I could see a young guy at this stage in 9-10 years looking and taking cricket serious, and in 7-8 years, he's well paid and well established. So that's one of the purpose of doing this, and that is why we try to make it fun. We want the public to come out and have fun and not put the pressure on the cricket to bring back an audience for what is a game that is dying. We want them to look at a game that has fun in it and should be played. And I'm promising you that if cricket is played in St. Kitts on a regular basis, we're going to have fans. St. Kitts people, we love cricket. We love eating peanuts and watching cricket. And that is dying, so we are trying to bring that back.
A lovely combination, cricket and peanuts. But going back to another point, a king has no honor in his own country. The first and to date the only Leeward Island umpire in Test cricket has come from St. Kitts, SP where the best be to be exact, the late Andrew Weeks.
Yeah.
He made his debut against England umpiring, I think it was the 4th Test match not against England, sorry, India.
India, yeah.
In Antigua, the 4th Test match against India in 1983. Up to this day, we're 26 years old and 83, that's 70, so we're talking 43 years after.
And no recognition.
Hold on, there has not been another Test umpire from the Leeward Islands after 43 years.
Yes.
2, no recognition. When they had the Leeward Islands Cricket Board, when they had the first gold jacket, I think they call it, or something like that.
Green jacket.
Some kind of jacket ceremony. They identified, I think it was Andy Roberts, Vivi Richards, and I think there was a third. I thought it was an excellent idea, and I still think it is an excellent idea. after that one, I spoke to a member of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board's executive. You know what they told me? Oh, it was meant for persons who had been forced. But who was the first Leeward Islander to do a test match?
Test match.
Andrew Weeks. And then they said, okay, that's something we could look at in the future. A second one was done. And still no Andrew Weeks. And nothing in St. Kitts to commemorate, not even in Sandy Point, to say the play field in Sandy Point is the Andrew E. Weeks playing field or what have you and what have you. And we need to recognize it. We heard about naming some part in the stands in Warner Park after Michael Louis. I thought that's an excellent idea. However, nothing has been done as yet about that. True. That is something, well, maybe this year might be a good year to do it because it's 100 years commemorating Warner Park.
Yep.
And I think there are big plans and big ceremonies. So maybe this would be a nice time to incorporate the name in whatever stand, if it's all 4 stands or one of the stands for Michael Louis. But
let me quickly say, because when I listen to CPL, and I'm overseas and I'm listening to CPL, I'm seeing that gap that when a commentator is commentating and we're hearing he's hitting the ball to the left side of the field, he's hitting the ball down Lozak Road. I'm like, what happened to Luther Kelly stands? What happened to the Victor Eddy stand? What happened to the Noel Gishard? And now what happened to the Weeks? You know what I mean? I feel that we don't sell ourselves during the CPL when it comes to our past players. People listening and we're like, oh, St. Kitts. But they wouldn't understand that we had cricketers that made it to a certain level. Yeah, there's no stance after them. There's no mention. Even when Victor Eddy goes to commentate, who to me is one of the better analysts that they have during commentary, he's hardly been told that he's from St. Kitts and that he played for St. Kitts, Leeward Island, and for English Premier. For
West Indies A as well.
Yeah, West Indies A as well.
He went to Zimbabwe, I think it was.
Yeah.
And that was the consolation prize for him, not making the West Indies senior team. And I think he was vice captain at the team too.
Yep.
And that was why, take this little thing, hush him out and be satisfied.
Yeah, be satisfied. We give you something eventually.
Everybody, it is said that when they sat down to pick the team, there was a selector from St. Kitts, and everybody got Victor Eddy on the list. You know?
Everybody.
So they expected, once the selector said Vic, they said, yes, okay, he's in it. Yeah. But then they hear all kind of names and they ain't hearing him. So if Victor Eddy out, I mean, somebody from my country now got to make it. Unfortunately, I believe we still pick like that, from my country and your country and things like that.
As the negotiation goes on, you give me this player, and I give you that
exactly.
player.
And it's unfortunate. And that is why Jeremiah Louis, yes, they picked him when they went to England last year, but that is why he has never played a test match for the West Indies. He should have played test match cricket about 4, maybe 5 years ago.
True.
When he was in the pink farm taking all these wickets.
Yep.
But and Harris should have played for West Indies. I shot.
Yeah.
Because he was the crisis man.
Yes, he was.
When he going to bat, you mentioned he and Gishard batting at 66 for 6. That was the tail for most of Leeward's batting that year.
Yeah.
When he's 40-something for 4 and 5 and 6 and so. And next thing, they bring them out to some respectability, 100 and something, maybe 200 and something. And it is sad. It is really sad, gentlemen. But I don't know if you have anything else to finish up with.
Yeah, I would like to say thanks to Freedom FM. Sorry, WINN FM. And Tough House also, Bif, you too, thanks for being here and hosting us. We have a couple of sponsors I will read out for the time being. I wouldn't disclose what they gave.
Of course, that's all right. Just call the names.
Inner City Fashion, that's Sylvan Mother's sewing business.
Tell her hello from me, Mrs.
In the Inner City Molyneux. You have Q-grated coconuts, that's a little business in Molyneux also. And I also big up to Chesley Hamilton for his donation. What we're doing is, everybody who have businesses and is able to do a banner or whatever, so we can display on the ground at the day. Yeah, we accepting that. Most people said yes, they will do something for us to, expose their business and also advertise them at the same time.
Gentlemen, I really like this idea. I'm excited about it. I hope I will get one of the ladies to drop me over there, one of my cousins or something.
The last thing to be, I would like to thank Valley's 1020 also for his donation.
That's wonderful. I think it's a tremendous idea. I hope in the first instance this one is extremely successful.
Yeah, that's what we hope.
Quality of play and
Definitely.
the spectators, the sponsors, and of course a little income generated from the event.
Yeah.
And I do hope that it becomes an annual event in the second instance, and in the third instance you guys come up with something for the other key players we've had around from the inner city situation. And Molyneux is still involved in cricket, not as an entire community.
No,
And
it's-
I understand and I agreed with that venture. If both Molyneux and Keon, they were not having enough players to survive, to have a team on their own, let me put it that way, them merging, Molyneux, Keon, yeah, that's
yeah,
the team now.
yeah.
And they have had success.
True.
They've won the T20 competition.
So
with
back-to-back
T30.
years too.
Yeah, exactly. And they've produced national players.
That's true.
And so that is working, though not in its entirety, the Molyneux community and the Keon community, but they're still there. And once this program continues, you'll probably have the situation where both of them will be able to field youngsters from each community and then separate on their own and maybe have a second team as well.
No, that's what we're thinking more of. You know, instead of dividing, we said, you know, we in the area Molyneux, Keon is a big community. And Molyneux is not a small community by any means. And as you rightfully said, both teams used to separately host a team. And for the betterment of cricket, then we felt combining, and it did work, and it is working. But we are hoping with stuff like this and a more vibrant executive getting together that we could see where we could have 2-3 teams out of this area, because we are hoping that to really get the young people back into cricket. That cricket is a natural thing for cricketers. Sports is a natural thing for cricketers, because I'm telling you, as good as we are just good on talent, because our training, our discipline needs working on. You talk about Molyneux team, football. I follow the football, the teams, the
And
training.
and then also had a good, strong basketball team as well, as
Yes.
of recent times.
Yep.
Getting the players to be disciplined and getting them to train is one of the issues. So this is what we are working on. And as you said rightfully, our goal is to give our cricketers, our former and present sportsmen, especially in netball, where there's not a netball team in Molyneux. We are hoping to bring back a netball team in a very close time, to get back a netball team, to get back a volleyball team, to get these sports playing once again in the village. Because on a regular weekend now, it's like the activities that goes on, these not sports activities. And to me, it's boring, because I grew up thinking my weekend is to play or watch sports. You know what I mean? So we're hoping that we could really get the public, and I'm asking the public, and I'm saying thanks to the public so far for their interest and their support, but we're asking the general public, find some time, come on out this Saturday from 1 o'clock, and Sunday from 11, you'll see some fun cricket, and we'll be giving honor to a great legend, and we'll be starting, hopefully, something that could revive the sports in the community, and that other villages, other teams will take pattern, and that we'll start having these type of cricket activities all over the island.
Yeah, one little thing, we'll have food and drinks on sale also, and music entertainment will be by DJ Wet Dot on both days.
Any registration, any entrance fee? Do you have to pay to?
Registration was $100.
That's for the-
Registration.
That's for the team.
For the
But
teams.
for me to come,
Free of cost.
Free of cost.
free of course. Well, I had to ask because
Free of cost
I
with the
would
general
want
public.
a
No
part of it.
vendors allowed.
a apart from the children, I would have got to walk with the one lady from K and the two from St. Peter's.
Then you could walk with them also. Hope that you ain't get into any trouble.
None coming over from Nevis.
Well, gentlemen, I like what you're doing. I like how you're thinking. And as you spoke, netball and football, I'm wondering if we're not at the era where we in St. Kitts should have community sporting organizations. Example, in Molyneux, sports, whether it's a sports club or a sporting organization. And that executive, that group of persons, they manage, they govern the football, the cricket, the basketball, the netball, the track and field, whatever you have it. So you have a central group of people working together to develop Molyneux, and the same thing happening whether in Sandy Point, etc., rather than you have a different football association. And you could have them, but it's like they are affiliated
Still
to
combine as one.
Yes, the Molyneux Sports Council. That might be a good name, Molyneux Sports
That's
Council.
true. That's true.
And
That's
you
a
have
good idea.
a vice president for football, a vice president, that's other stuff.
Sure.
But just food for thought. But anyway, gentlemen, I thank you for coming. It has been a tremendous pleasure having you here. And this is the second time. I don't believe it's going to be the last time. And I congratulate you again on the idea. I wish you well. And I'm going to try to get, like I said, to get one of my cousins them to give me a drop over. Now, have a safe trip, gentlemen, and the best wishes.
Yeah, all the best to you, and good to see you out. At least you revive, you know. You're in another weather no more, so good to see you, man.
That's true. You look like the flu wanted to, what they call it, the homecoming?
Yeah.
Like the homecoming wanted.
Homecoming.
I see you on Facebook cooking all the time, so your immune system is supposed to be.
All right,
guys, thanks for that
gentlemen.
again for hosting us.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
Thanks.
You've been listening to a live interview about the Noel Gishard Festival, cricket festival happening in Molyneux this weekend. We're encouraging you to go on out, support cricket, support the Molyneux community, support Noel Gishard, who has made a tremendous contribution to St. Kitts and Leeward's cricket. Unfortunate for me not to be able to say West Indies cricket, but he would have made contribution to the West Indies, because when Lee was playing Jamaica and Barbados, etc., and he playing, that would have been at the West Indies level. But stick and stay, don't go away. We will be right back as we have another guest, and we are going to continue with cricket tonight. Welcome back to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. I am Troy Bif Mills, your host, and we have transitioned from one guest, and we are now of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association, former manager of teams going overseas to represent St. Kitts and Nevis. We are speaking about Mr. Urban Egbert Freeman. He passed on Saturday afternoon. His wife, she is a current member of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association. She's also a qualified umpire. His son, Andre Freeman, his daughter, Angelisa Freeman, they have represented St. Kitts and Nevis multiple times in various competitions. They went to Glasgow for the Commonwealth Game, Australia for the Commonwealth Game. They've been to Cuba, Santo Domingo. The win was for OECS championships. So the entire family, they have put collectively about 100 years worth of service towards table tennis. There is the Freeman and the Freeman Table Tennis Club, which was formed by the late Urban Egbert Freeman. And he's going to be a tremendous loss. On behalf of the St. Kitts and the Nevis Table Tennis Association, the executive, the players, the clubs, the volunteers, the entire fraternity, and on behalf of myself and my family, we extend condolences to Mrs. Amelia Freeman, to Angelisa and Andre Freeman, and the extended family relatives, to the members of his club, and he would have the teaching fraternity, because he would have taught for 20 plus, 30 plus years, and he has since retired. And he's going to be tremendously missed, but he won't be forgotten. And Mrs. Freeman and family, we are asking that you find comfort, you find peace, you find joy in knowing that he has represented his community, originally from St. Paul's, moved to Sadler's, the teaching fraternity, the table tennis fraternity. I understand he was also at one point the president of the St. Kitts and the Nevis Amateur Basketball Association, and he has served his church well, tremendously well. So, and he has still, at the end of the day, he found the time and the energies to be a very good and strong family man, husband, father, and grandfather. So we extend to you condolences, Freeman and Mrs. Freeman and family, and may Irvin sleep in peace. That is it's never easy to deal with that. It's part of life, but that's a part of life I don't believe we'll ever get accustomed to, and especially when it's home, when it's home. We're now going to bring in our guest in a moment, and before we do so, you can call in, share your views, 466-0989, or if you're overseas, whether you're in the Caribbean or farther beyond, you prefix that with 1-869-466-0989. You can follow us on YouTube and Facebook. And if you're shy like me, I tell people I'm shy, but I don't believe I do a good job convincing people. You can WhatsApp me on 765-1100. My floor phone is out of commission. I've since ordered a new phone. I should be getting it maybe sometime next week or thereabout, I'm hoping. And so right now I'm using my Digiphone, my Digicell, which is 765-1100. To all your listeners out there, we say good night and welcome to on the ball, and and we hope forgive me. The phone wanted to do its own thing there, but we got it sorted out. But people like Montclair, what's his name? Tito from Inner City Molyneux. He's in Montreal. And we have John Palmer over in Mansion, Montezuma. We have my Uncle Neville Manny Weeks up in New York. We have the entire Brown Hill community over in Nevis, Sandy Point. We have Anna Hull in Keon, Larnett, Somerset in Keon, Evie Morris Phipps, or is it Evie Phipps, at Manchester Avenue up there in Newtown, and she's locked on to us. And let us get into the program, because a lot of things happening in cricket, locally, regionally, internationally, males, females. Afghanistan beating the West Indies twice in the under 19 level and still in the senior level. And who do we have in studios? None other than Mr. Eustace Maynard. I call him the walk encyclopedia because of the amount of information he has upstairs. And before I bring him in, I must thank him because he gave up a big engagement to be here with us. And originally he should have been on for 7:30, but we decided we had to give Molyneux a little extra minute or two. And I'm hoping that the producer wouldn't want to rush home to the family. He'll be able to squeeze in a few minutes at the end. But welcome to the studios, Mr. Maynard. Happy New Year to you.
And to the gentleman next to your left in Master Control, who has been doing an excellent job. We wish him all the best for 2026. We wish this station, and by extension the rest of the nation, I want to say a very special good evening to each and everyone out there. A very special friend of mine in Molyneux, my friend in Trinidad, a friend in Jamaica, in Barbados, in Taiwan, in the US. I mean, there are so many of my friends all around the world who are listening, and also the mother of Jazara Claxton. So many people who are tuning. I wish all you the very best for 2026, and I wish that this year can be the best year ever. So very special good evening to all the listeners in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and around the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. It really has been a beautiful day in the Federation, with brilliant sunshine, where the sun blazes in all its glory, and it really was just about a perfect Caribbean day. And now we are into the evening time, just about 10 minutes moving down after 8 p.m. in the night, and we are here to discuss the very important issues in reference to cricket here in St. Kitts, through the fields around the rest of the Eastern Caribbean and the West Indies cricket in general. So you invited me last week, but I know you were not feeling well, and decided to have me on your program this evening, and I am happy for the invitation, happy to be here to share, to inform, to communicate, educate, and to share, and to discuss what I think is in the best interest of cricket, whether local, regional, or international.
Thank you very much, Eustace. Thank you for your sentiments. And I do apologize that I wanted you to be the opening batsman for 2026. And we spoke about it since last year, as a matter of fact. But when it comes to health, we have no control of that. So I was a little under the weather. I couldn't make it. And when I asked you if you could shift to this week and we do it, you gladly accepted. And I really appreciate that. I say good evening to your listeners all over the world as well. I apologize that you would have hyped them up and let them know you were on, but that didn't materialize last week. So no doubt they are smiling ear to ear. Some of them might be sitting somewhere watching the stars and drinking a cup of coffee, a cocktail of some sort, and things like that as we delve into cricket. And boy, have we got a lot of cricket to talk about. Local cricket, we have the regional cricket with the females. We have the ICC under 19, West Indies in Afghanistan. But let's start on the local scene. The St. Kitts Cricket Association, they had a strange meeting. The meeting was called a members' meeting. It wasn't an ordinary meeting, it wasn't an extraordinary meeting, it wasn't an emergency meeting. I guess why that? Because there's nothing in the Constitution that says anything about that. The Constitution that's of the St. Kitts Cricket Association speaks of just 2 meetings. A biennial general meeting every year and an annual general meeting in the year that they're not having a biennial general meeting. So therefore the annual general meeting is held every other year, which is a biennial meeting. For the heck of me, Eustace, I cannot understand how that got into the Constitution. So they have 2 types of meeting: an annual general meeting held every other year and a biennial general meeting held every other year. But anyway, that one sort out itself. But a few things came out. They are looking at returning to red ball cricket, to the cricket, which we haven't had for, I don't know if you could remember, 20, 25 years. I can't really remember when
many
red
years.
ball in St. Kitts.
Well, when it comes to the cricket, is the cricket that I love most, and that is what made West Indies the great teams way back in the 60s, and then started again when fortunately we had all of these outstanding players, from 1980 to 1995, which we for that 15 years, fortunately have just about the best opening pair in the world, the best middle in the world, the best batsman in the world, the best wicketkeeper batsman in the world, and the best spin attack in the world. So we had many great players, fortunately, at that time, representing the West Indies team. And we are very proud for the outstanding record with so many series during that time. We were a true champion with outstanding batsmen, from as I said, the opening, the middle, the wicket keeper. What we make. We were confident. We don't have confidence in the world that we can defend because of the outstanding quality we have in terms of the pace bowlers, and the Viv and the Larry Gomes and others, and so chipping in. But it was mainly pace. I'm telling you, most of them at least 90 or more, and we had a tremendous bowling attack who really have made progress during that time, the world. And unfortunately, where we are today is nothing that we can say we are progress. It's like every time we have a match, we that we can have a good match, a good day. West Indies always consistent in being inconsistent, and it's just really, really unfortunate that we are at this stage. As your former first guest this evening would have indicated, to some extent, the serious problems we have, problems at the leadership, even off the field, the board, and there are different things that contribute to where we are. And there are players who unfortunately are not given the rightful opportunity. And you would have mentioned, and it had nothing to do because these players happen to be from St. Kitts, the two brothers who happened to make history in 2024. And I'm proud when our player went out in at Lords and fed the fastest. I'm telling you, in England,
Correct.
condition was not lightly at all. And
Woods.
Michael stood up an outstanding series at first class level. No competition would have done what Michael would have done. Got into the Leewards team in his first season as a young 24-year at that time. And centuries, the most centuries are what, I mean, runs, like you name it, and the top average of 48.71. Not only will players have very good series, and you know, some possibility because of his performance. You wonder if he will get the nudge ahead of this one. But he was the best in the region in his first season. And the many great players we had over the years from St. Kitts and throughout the Caribbean, none came to a West Indies first class tournament and dominated that tournament like what Louis would have done. And his brother, who was Mr. Consistent, because he has taken sometimes, if not the most wicket, he in the top three, being consistent. We know he's an outstanding fielder. We know what he can do with the ball. I mean, no other ball in the region, especially that year when he made the West Indies team, swing the ball like Jeremiah Louis. And look at Jeremiah Louis. Unfortunately, you had played. Look at the guy from Jamaica just walk into the West Indies team after one season. Hasn't done really anything to really talk about. The guy from Jamaica, the young fellow from Antigua, so he's now in the West Indies youth team. Andrew did nothing to really to speak about. He was dropped for the Antiguan team in terms of the CPL, but after the tournament, he walked into the West Indies team because we have a coach, the West Indies selecting process, which nobody can say clearly in terms of who are the selector, who select the West Indies team.
The coach,
right?
Sammy.
And it so happened that I was listening to a program overseas, and the president of the West Indies team was on that program, so he had some, I had a discussion with him, you know, in reference to the West Indies team, you know, the issues and different things. He came on a bit late, so we never really had the kind of time that we wanted and the length of discussion. But I was happy that I got in a few questions. It's still not clearly answered in terms of who really select the West Indies team. We've been hearing all kind of things. And the West Indies president stated that over the years, especially from say 1995, we have been losing. We have the three selectors and the captain and, you know, maybe the vice captain and whatever, who select the West Indies team, which is a system that run throughout the whole, I would say, all the cricketing nation, the Australia, the England, the India, the South Africa, all of these countries, especially those who are dominating cricket at this time, India and Australia and South Africa, England to some extent. England is hot and cold, you know, the one time they're good, one time they, you know, sometime now, well, now they are playing maybe better at the shorter version and sometimes a little success, but really Australia hammered them in the last series, my second team outside of the West Indies team, Australia, had an excellent series, winning 4-1 in Australia. And Australia never had no time in that series the best pace attack. They never are the best bowling attack, which is the most experienced bowling attack in the world, the most accomplished and the most successful bowling attack in the world. And unfortunately, Australia were not given the opportunity to put all the best attack in any of the matches, but came out 4-1, and even the best batsman in Australia did not really perform at his best, were not consistent, perhaps a century and a few half centuries, but you had combination head who also sometimes the unfortunate brings the fortunate, because the opening bat who would have served Australia for many years, Coraja. Congratulations to him, and we wish him the very best. He has gone into retirement and say goodbye to at the international stage. I assume that he will continue because there's so much franchise, which I call the money cricket, and that is what many, that is why the Puran could have decided to retire at 29, and he will continue to apply his trade all around the world, earn millions of dollars. Even he would never played a test match, but today he has earned enough that even if he chooses to retire now, he can live and invest and enjoy the rest of his life comfortable, not in no restriction where I have to watch my money and whatever. He can go out and treat himself. He can go on a cruise. He can go sailing. He can just go and enjoy himself. And that is what this game, which we love, is given, or the opportunity there for anybody. And that is why we encourage all those young people to stay away from crime and all kind of things that is not in the best interest of you, your family, your colleagues, your community, and by extension, the country. As I said to you before, and the last time, and I always, the only right a man has a right to do is what is right, and doing what is right, that is the only thing that is right.
Very well said, very well said, Eustace. And you boast of your second team defeating England 4-1. But remember, England defeated Australia in the fourth Ashes test in 2 days. And on the first day, Australia batted first innings, and England batted the first innings, and Australia batted the second time on day one, eh?
Yeah.
They batted the second time on day one, which I believe might be history, but that is how it goes. Still looking at the local scene, and we're going to slip off just now. Mm-hmm. Mikael Louis, he didn't play any two-day cricket in St. Kitts, and he was able to be successful at playing four-day cricket at the regional level and walk into the West Indies team. And to me, that shows the determination. It shows
and for clarity, you are speaking in reference to 2024, when, unfortunately, which you rightfully said, and also which, unfortunately, we had no two-day cricket for many years. Unfortunately, there are all kind of reasons given, but throughout the leewards, there are reasons that because of travel and different things in terms of the modern time now compared to maybe in the past, where you would have had the teams travel back and forth playing in different countries, and you have at least say maybe 5-6 games, so a player would have had an opportunity to have maybe say 10, 12 innings, and the Leeward board would have made excuse over the years not playing two-day cricket. Well, here in St. Kitts, because the Leeward maybe have excuse, come with the excuse that because of maybe travel and accommodations and whatever and so, that it is too expensive, and there are a lot of things that I will mention that I will bring to the table, because I am not happy with that position and in terms of the leadership of the Leeward board, especially for the last 10 years, right? There are much more that could have been done if they had the vision, if they had the know-how and the strategies. There are many other things that you could have done to give yourself the opportunity where you can have 4-day cricket, when it would have been 3-day cricket throughout the Leewards, right? And give the Leewards players the opportunity. There are many players over the years who would now, you could say, retire because the age, 10 years, not playing consistent 3-day cricket for the Leewards. And while they're not given the opportunity to play, they're getting older. And unfortunately, because they're from St. Kitts, that is another reason why players are being left out of the St. Kitts team over the years, right? But the Leewards made excuse in terms of because of the traveling. Here in St. Kitts, no one can say that there are water between the villages in St. Kitts. So it is so expensive. What is the reason? What is the reason if you had true leadership, where we could have definitely had cricket played in St. Kitts? We perhaps maybe per capita could be the country to have the most grounds in the world.
Correct.
Right? So why the leadership of the Cricket Association did not organize two-day cricket for the last 10, 15 years? Why? And it's a very important question. And you said something that is very, very, very important. Imagine that in 2024, they took two-day cricket played in St. Kitts. Michael Louis, after no preparation or match preparation, got into the Leewards team. And I was calling for him to be in the Leewards team at least 3 years before. Because this young man demonstrated, presented, and represented, I'm telling you, a match which he played over there in Nevis, a young man around age 17. And it was a match in Nevis where he would have faced up to just about perhaps maybe the fastest bowler in the Leewards at that time, Joseph and company, a young man. And this man stood up to all, like how he stood up to the England bowling attack when he got into the West Indies team in his first match, scoring the highest, the top score. Even it was not a big score, it was the top score and debut up there in England, and a serious fire in tremendous condition, bowling condition in England. And Michael Louis stood up as a champion, like a champion in England. After he would have gotten into the Leewards team, dominated the Leewards, the regional tournament, as I said, the most centuries, the most runs, the best average, batted for the most balls, almost everything. Michael Louis, really made us very, very proud. But there's something I also want to speak about, which is very important to me, and by extension, the country. You know that Louis would have created history, right? Yeah,
Remind us of that again.
You know that Louis would have created history in 2024
by being the first Kititian
to play
Test cricket for West Indies.
For the West Indies.
Because there was another West Indian who played Test cricket. I think he played for, was it England?
Yes, yeah. Right. And up to now, because Louis was promised by the present government a huge sum of money because of his contribution, being the first, created history. Also, Josiah Claxton, who also was promised, who made history, a young, tremendous talent. And this young lady is not just any ordinary sports person, because you know that she represents St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Kitts in so many different sports, in football, in netball, in track and field, in cricket, and all sports she played for St. Kitts. Not any ordinary player. Never an ordinary player. And this outstanding, successful ambassador who created history was promised funds by our present government. And up to today, she has not refused. And I am calling on the administration here in this country to stand up to what you would have said and promised, and give these two ambassadors who have been so successful in the sports, even your promise, which was done 2024. This is 2026 to name the stand of this outstanding representative, ambassador, create history, and nothing. I know if I have to ask you the question, have you seen any name and any stand up there in Warner Park? What is your answer?
No, there isn't any. However, I'll jump in and say, this year we are celebrating the centenary of Warner Park, 100 years of existence. So I am thinking this is a good time for the government to name the stand in honor of Michael Louis, and even some.
But his brother also have to be in the picture, because he also made the team shortly after he was up there in England. We were very proud to see not only one player but two players in the squad at the same time. And we know, as I said, what he would have done, over the years, for the Leewards. And unfortunately, because of territory,
he bought the wrong place.
Because when you pick a team, you don't pick a team based on sentiment, territory, or insularity, right? You pick a team based on performance, ability, and quality. And unfortunately, the insularity still continue throughout the Leewards, even up until the other day, where I believe that if the people who really are serious about the cricket and taking St. Kitts cricket forward should have given Louis the opportunity to lead the St. Kitts team. But that doesn't mean that because he did not lead the St. Kitts team, that he should not lead the Leewards team. Because he has been the best player in the Leewards and should have definitely been the person to lead the Leewards team in the last tournament. But imagine the captain for the Leewards team got into the Leewards team for the first time and got the very important position as vice captain, Mr. Tuckett. And kind of, because I don't know for what reason, and that is the continued, injustice being done to many of our players, now, and in the past, we witnessed the injustice over the years, and unfortunately, it is still happening now, and I am asking and expecting that the people who are given the opportunity to serve with honesty, integrity, transparency, and you make sure that all time that you call it right. Very important that you call it right. And that is what is important in going forward.
When we look at it, we are seeing petitions advancing from our levels here, whatever, into the Leewards and the senior team. Leewards, they are in virgin territory. The Leewards Island females, they are leading the current championship. The only team to have won all of their 4 matches. Barbados, they had won 3, they lost to the Leewards. But not only that, Leeward Islands,
and you're speaking in reference to the females, which we have to make it clear to our listeners, our team down there, and our West Indies player who is the vice captain has been doing an excellent job, and who I personally expect in the future to lead the West Indies senior women's team. An excellent talent, and I have no doubt that it will be history again in the future, because she definitely will be given the opportunity to lead that women's team. And I'm very, very, very proud of Jazara Claxton, and I'm looking for the best, and I'm definitely not settling for nothing less.
Well, she is there. Leewards, out of the top 5 scores, well, no, let me put that another way. Only on 5 occasions did a team make more than 100 runs. And Leewards females have done that 3 of the 5 times. The high score of the tournament, 118 by Leewards. I think it's Barbados had 111, Trinidad had 110, the Leewards had 108 and 106. So of the 5 scores over 100, Leewards has 3 of them. There's another youngster from St. Paul's, Elia Weeks. She has played in all 4 matches so far. She has batted once, she has bowled once and given just 1 over. She's only 16 or 17 years. She made the West Indies under-19 team last year, and she has already been picked for next year. And while we're speaking about that, Kunal Tilokani, another Kitishan division, he is currently in Zimbabwe and Tanzania representing the West Indies on the 19 team as well. So when you look at the players advancing, it is suggesting that something kept here in St. Kitts in cricket, something positive happening. And there's still a Lashawn Bergen. He's about 17 years, 18 years, and chances are he might very well make the West Indies on the 19 team next year. So how do you feel about these number of persons getting to the West Indies level? Female, Kyle, on the 19. What does that suggest to you?
Well, it suggests that there are tremendous amount of talent in our country at this time, and it has been for some time. And as I said, because of the lack of opportunity to play, because even you are, you are very good, but that means that maybe if you were playing, you could have been a lot better, and you would have at least more experience playing, So when you are given the opportunity to play, whether representing your country, the Leewards, you would have had more match practice in the past, more, matches playing, instead of maybe say going in the net, or maybe somebody bowling to you privately, giving you some practicing. It is always very important to have, to be playing in a match, where you're down there facing different bowlers, different, field setting, and, so it's always very important to get the opportunity to play. And it shows that, imagine, they're not given the opportunity to play as much as we would have liked. But look at the advancing, because when you are naturally gifted, talented, and have the ability and the quality, like the many players who you mentioned, it is a good thing. And it's only a matter of giving them that kind of support and direction, management, and the opportunity to play, to advance their game and to develop their craft. So playing, the match or in a match is very, very important. But I'm very, very proud that just like sometimes you may have an individual in a class and the individual hardly study. The individual is just naturally gifted, go in the exam and just, eat up those questions and answers in flying colors, passing that exam, just naturally bright, naturally gifted and talented. So that is what we are fortunately blessed with, the many talent we have here in the Federation, and we are wishing all of these players the very best. We just, hope that they will stay on the right path, the straight and narrow road, and there are always room for improvement. And because fortunately there is so much finance now in the game, especially in terms of cricket, so many different series and matches and the 2020 and you name it, all around the world. There are players who have not even played for their international team, but they are making a serious amount of weight, which can sustain them for the rest of their lives. And it's very, very important, where sports, which is very, very important to a family, first of all, an individual, a family, a community, and by extension, a country. Because when an individual achieves, the family achieves. When the family achieves, the community, and by extension, the country. So it is very, very, very important that players continue to...
Eustace, let us take a pause as we have a caller. Good evening, caller. Welcome to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9.
Okay.
Please call back, caller 4660989. We do apologize for that. And there were actually two callers. And we will await your call, caller. Thank you very much. But continue. You were saying.
Yeah, so as I was saying, that it would benefit their families, communities.
The call is back again.
Okay, let's break.
Let us go and say good night to you, caller. Welcome to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. Caller gone again. Please call back. Please do call back.
The lines, the numbers, all the numbers are working?
Yes, they
or
are.
Perhaps maybe you need to mention the numbers.
Well, they got in. They know the number 4660989.
Yeah, and the 6620989 working and 7620989 and the overseas lines.
Maybe I was just a little slow in getting to them. But please do call. We appreciate it. And we have a keen eye looking at the board. And we'll continue, Eustace, you're saying.
Yeah, so as I was saying, it's very important where, as a citizen, when a citizen, end up to be a successful person, that person, can earn and...
Hold on one second.
We have a caller?
Hello, good evening, 90.9 WINN FM.
Hi, a very pleasant evening to you, sir. I would like to make a contribution to the program. I've been calling for the past 3 or 4 times, and seemingly there's a line issue there. You have a line problem?
No, we do not. But we were trying to get you in for a bit, but you're here now.
All right, so I would like to make an input.
Yes, go on.
Am I live?
You're live on
Yeah, we are.
Yes, a very blessed evening to you, distinguished gentlemen, Mr. Troy Mills and Mr. Maynard. A very interesting discussion.
Yes.
I do not quite, and Happy New Year to both of you.
Thank you, and
yeah, I think Mr. Mills would have already gotten his. With respect to your saying that Mikhail Louis should have been allowed to captain the Leeward Islands team, I do not quite agree with that. I want to believe that it would be a lot better to allow Mikhail Louis to be free, to be a free player on whatever team he plays for, whether it's the St. Kitts team, the Leeward Islands team, a West Indies President's 11 team, whatever team. I just want Mikhail Louis to focus on his batting. I would like Mikhail Louis to go back to the nets, go back to basics. And it will be nice if the Cricket Association can arrange and organize some practice sessions for Mikhail Louis with the local spinners, medium pacers, fast bowlers, all different types of bowlers. And I would take it even further. I would like to see the St. Kitts Cricket Association, the SKCA, invest in Mikhail Louis by trying to get Mikhail Louis to play cricket outside of St. Kitts, whether it's India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, on those slow pitches in Bangladesh, on the Asian continent, so he can learn to master spin bowling. We saw that seems to be one of his batting deficiencies. And if he can get a stint in Australia, England, New Zealand, wherever the Cricket Association can sponsor him to get him there, because we want Mikhail Louis back in the West Indies team. He has the potential, he has the talent, he has just about everything, the temperament, and all the work ethics are there, but that little technical flaw has to be worked out. And unless it is worked out, bowlers around the world will continue to work him out because they study batsmen. You know that. They study the videos and so forth. So wherever they see a little technical deficiency or flaw, they work on that. And they are able to figure you out in quick time. So he now has to find ways and means to do like the greats of old, the Desmond Haynes, the Gordon Greenwich, the Brian Lara, Viv Richards, and those guys put in a lot of extra work. You, as a modern-day cricketer, you cannot just depend on coach and training sessions with your team. You have to do that extra work. If you have to get up and run, you get up and run. You have to go on the beach and exercise. You do whatever you need to improve your game, to hone your skills and fine-tune your skills. so that you can face any kind of bowling on any type of pitch, as was the case with the great Sir Garfield Sobers. There was no such thing as a bad wicket for Sobers. Sobers applied himself wherever he played, and he always applied the formula A plus O equals R. Application plus occupation equals run. And once you concentrate and you focus and you develop your skills, bowlers cannot get you out easily. So that is the level to which I want to see Mikael Louis get. And rather than naming a stand after Mikael Louis, Warner Park should be renamed the Mikael Louis Park. Warner Park, who is Warner? What has Warner done for St. Kitts? Mikael Louis has put St. Kitts on the map. He's the first Kittitian ever to play Test cricket, which is the highest level of the game. The Warner Park should be renamed the Mikael Louis Park. And I put a full stop there. And that's my contribution for tonight. God bless you.
Before you go, caller, you're still there?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm hearing you loud and clear.
This question is basically going to both of you, yourself and Eustace. I like what you're suggesting, but when do you see Mikael Louis getting back on the West Indies team? And well, the question before that is, what does he have to do to get to the West Indies team? And when do you see him getting to the West Indies team? I asked that because when the West Indies came from Pakistan, I think it was Kavem Hodge, he was dropped, and Amir Django was dropped, but you're seeing them back in West Indies colours. So, and what have they done to get there? And what would Louis need to do?
And what have Sanjay Paul have done to get back into the West Indies team? There are some people who are given opportunity, more opportunity, and there are others. It shows when a young man is going to get into a tournament in his first.
Mr. Mills.
Hey, Rodney.
Yeah, in light of the fact that I am using my son's cell phone and I do not have a landline yet, I have the outlet, but I would like to make my contribution first. Mr. Maynard is in the studio with you.
Okay.
So let me respond to your question quickly.
Okay, that's a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah, in order for Mikael Louis to get back into the West Indies team, Mikael Louis has to be very hungry. He has to be very hungry for runs. I mean, if you can remember days of old when we had new players breaking into the West Indies team, they broke into the West Indies team on the basis of their outstanding performances in the West Indies team. We saw that from, we can start with Brian Lara. I mean, Brian Lara, we had people like Stuart Williams out of Nevis. We had Devon Smith out of Grenada. We had Dave Joseph out of Antigua. Those guys applied themselves during a particular season. We had people like Livingston Lawrence. We had Ralston Otto, who is now the president of the Leeward Islands Cricket Association. We saw Keith Atherton. And those guys broke into the West Indies team. Why? Because they applied themselves, the same formula I spoke about, application plus occupation equals runs. So you apply yourself at the crease, you occupy the crease, you focus, you concentrate, and you accumulate your runs. Desmond Haynes was one of the greediest batsmen the West Indies ever produced. So you as a batsman, you have to be greedy, so greedy that you do not want anybody to get you out. You're supposed to develop your skills to the point, to the level that no bowler can get you out, regardless of what they bowl. They bowl Chinaman, Chinaman and Googly. They bowl whatever they bowl, whether it's pace, medium pace. You're supposed to be able to play any kind of bowling on any kind of pitch, whether it's turning ball, moving ball, lateral movement. You have to develop your skills to the point that you can handle any type of bowling anywhere on any kind of pitch. So he has to be hungry, so hungry for runs. And whenever he gets back into the Leeward's team, his objective should be to score the most runs again, with the most centuries again. He has to repeat that performance. and let the selectors know that Mikhail Louis is still here. He's still here. He has the potential. He's young. He has age on his side, and he can get back into the West Indies team if he puts in that performance that is required, and that is scoring loads and loads of runs year after year. And when he gets the opportunity to play for the West Indies, he has to grasp that opportunity with both hands and not fail. You have to go there with a lot of purpose, a lot of confidence, plenty of aplomb, and apply yourself and just score runs, runs, and more runs. You cannot score more runs. You cannot score too many runs as a player who comes out of the Leeward Islands or the Windward Islands. You know how they treat us. We heard Maynard speaking about the insularity. It still continues, even within the individual islands, individual territories, the Leeward Islands, the Windward Islands, we still have it. And then it spreads further to the bigger islands, the way they treat the smaller islands. So, as Richie Richardson said, a man coming out of the Leewards has to perform 4 times as good as someone who comes from Barbados, Trinidad, Guyana, or Jamaica. And we in the sub-region, in the OECS, we know that. So Mikhail Louis has to go in there with that kind of mindset and just break records, man. Break records. If he has to score 1,000 runs, score 1,000 runs plus. And that's how he's going to get back there. You have to force the selectors to pick him.
Thank you very much, caller. We appreciate that. And we now invite Eustace to share his view on that. And of course, you're welcome to call back again, caller.
I want to say,
my brother. All the best.
And thanks for calling, Rodney. But for your correction, Ralston Otto, unfortunately, is not alive. Enoch Lewis is the present president of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board. So
correct. I was waiting to make that correction.
Correcting Rodney in giving the correct information to our listeners. And in reference to Mikhail Louis is a natural leader. And there are many players who, given the opportunity to lead, are even better, or would have done even better. Many captains, given the opportunity to lead, have done better than they were as a player. The present captain of South Africa in Test cricket, the present captain of South Africa Test team was an ordinary player, or a better than an ordinary player. He was a good player, but he has an outstanding record as a captain, not only in terms of victory, because most of the matches he captained, he has won. And his average in terms of runs, because runs is what build your average, he would have done far much better. Sometimes it builds you. It gives you the confidence as a captain that you really want to do very well, because the team look up to you, and the team looks up to you, and as the leader really want to lead by example, and then sometimes you can just happen to get the best out of the person. There's no excuse why he shouldn't have led the Leeward's team, and it's only because he's from St. Kitts. If he was from Antigua, he would have lead the team. I'm telling you, with the load of nonsense and biasness that take place over the years, and I am not going to support all of those things there. And in terms of Mikhail getting back into the West Indies team, there are people not only getting back into the West Indies team, there are some people continue to stay in the West Indies team and doing nothing. They have done nothing. Some of them have done nothing to get in and have done nothing to stay in. But because it so happened that they in terms of selection policy for them, is totally different to players, especially from St. Kitts. For some reason, not only just now, for many years. Because when we had the many great players over the years who would have been the best, imagine, as I would have said, Livingston Harris, 4 consecutive years top the batting aggregate and average in the whole West Indies. The whole West Indies, 4 consecutive years. And the man couldn't get into the West Indies team and bow out at age 32. And there are people who walk into the West Indies team at 32. Some of them in older than 32 and ain't doing nothing. Have not done anything. The Brendan King was failing. Rutherford and others failing. The Heckmeyer failing. But there are certain people are given opportunity because it so happened that they are favored by the coach. The coach is very childish, very immature, and is very insolent also, right? So who he likes, he pick, and who he don't like, he don't think. Why you think Kyle Mayers is not in the West Indies team? Why you think he's not there? Kyle Mayers, he can bowl, he can bat, he can field. So even if he perhaps ain't come off with the bat, you know that he can come there with the ball, open the ball, in the bowling, he can come down in the middle of the game, and he's also an outstanding fielder. There are other players in 2020 game. Some of them, they can't bat. They only did it just to woof like Johnson Charles and others. Many. So I am saying if West Indies selectors was serious about development, Stuart William, who presently has the worst record as an opening batsman in terms of chances. Stuart William played 18 consecutive innings. 18 consecutive innings before he scored a half century. 18 consecutive innings before he scored a half century. Only in his 19 test inning, he scored a half century. 62 in England, replacing Jimmy Adams when he got injured in the middle because he did not open in that match. Right? So, when it comes to Kyle, if the selectors were serious, they could have, I don't know, in terms of whatever support and structure, in terms of the West Indies board, what they would have done to support players. I mean, you see such a talented, gifted player came on the scene for series, dominated the series, most runs, most half centuries, batted the longest. It shows that the man, he has some quality and he needed opportunity. Give him the opportunity. He's going to come good. When he's not out the team, you're going to make runs. When you're out the team, when you're in the pavilion, that's not how you make runs. You got to be in the wicket. You got to be in the team. You got to be in the 11. And there are certain people who have not done nowhere close what Kyle would have done, and they are given opportunities. This is not thing. I am saying that this is a young man. You decide to move away from Brathwaite. Right? They bring back the guy from Jamaica. He's nothing special in Campbell. Nothing. He was suspended. He came back, made some runs, but nothing to talk about. Nothing really to talk about. You really should have continued with Kyle. Give Kyle a couple more series. You know what he would have done. You'd see what he demonstrated up there in England in that test match when he faced the fire of the England bowling attack under that kind of condition. And came out, the England press was speaking about him. The England press were, were very, very proud when they see real talent, people who are gifted and people who have quality. But if you don't get the opportunity, what are you going to think? The guy in Lameshade got an opportunity because Steve Smith got hit. He got injured. They call him Lameshade. He got an opportunity. He was not in the Australian team. Who knows? He probably wouldn't have been where he is today. But got an opportunity. And he took full advantage of that opportunity. So if some people, as they say, the older, the better. Some wine get better as they get older, right? And there are people who would have, given more opportunities than some. Some came on the scene. Look at the guy from Guyana. In his first series for Guyana, the Samson, right? If Samson was from Sinkies, he would not have been in the West Indies team. He would have never been there. He would not get no opportunity, right? So I am saying that if the West Indies selectors, where we don't even know who is the selector, because this kind of system that the West Indies...
Sammy is, what do you say, chief cook, bottle washer.
And he's not even qualified to be the coach of the West Indies test team. They say he win 2 World Cup. Where he win 2 World Cup because he had a great team. Only in the second World Cup, he would have contributed to some extent. Nothing in the first World Cup. He happened to be blessed to have, at that time, and even still, because the history says that Chris Gayle, being the 2020, has been the best 2020 batsman in the history of 2020 cricket. You had Chris Gayle, you had Dwayne Bravo, one of the best all-rounder ever in the game. You had Karen Powell, you had Narayan, the mystery spinner, at his world-class best, and Baju and all those guys. He had a whole team, like the great West Indies team between 1980 and 1995. So if you happen to be blessed and with tremendous amount of talent, you most likely will get good results from such a talent.
But the point too, like I said, and Baptist brought it up, the Shanda Paul, and no disrespect to them, Kavim Hodge, and when Kavim Hodge came back, he made a century. He made a century in the test, and that is what Baptiste is talking about, given the opportunity, and I agree with you. You cannot make test match runs if you're not in West Indies, and even if you're in West Indies, you can't make test match runs unless you're playing.
And, every single player, including great players, have their bad time. Kohli had his bad time. Tendulkar, for the last 25 test matches, didn't do anything much to talk about. The team was doing well.
The captain for Pakistan, the opener, Baba Azam.
Yes, sir.
He was dropped as well because of poor form.
Yeah, right? So there are players, Steve Smith, Joe Root at one time really went down, were not doing anything. Now he's the best test ranked batsman in the world. The former captain for New Zealand, Williamson, had a poor
very lean
period, and then he came back, like the former Williamson, and was scoring runs like nothing. So every great player, the Viv Richards, the Sobers, the Greenwich, the W's, you name it, the Australian great, the Indian great, every great player have a bad time.
The young batsman from England, Ali Pope, he was earmarked to go on for captaincy and great things. I understand that he has been demoted from a pope to a nun because they have dropped him. He has been going through a lean period. Shubman Gill from India, I think he was left out of an India squad. Whether he was being rested, I'm not certain.
Yeah, right. He and also the wicket keeper, Punt, right? They at one time were really dominated, world cricket. And They just gone through a lean period. So the Gill were ranked the top just about one day player in the world just recently, and now he's not in the India mix. So there are times when players have a lean period, but that don't mean form is temporary, but class is permanently, right? And you cannot take the brain out of someone's head. You can't take, like you could take somebody out of cricket, or you can't take cricket out of them, right? So I am saying, and I will say that I expect West Indies, because I know Kyle is going to come back. As I said on this program before, and I will say, Michael Clarke was dropped from the Australian team at age 24. The same, and when he got back into the Australian team, no stopping, runs can't done. Got his way, walk his way right up to captain. And one of the best captain, matches can't done, led his team through a very, very productive period, throughout his career. And that is what opportunity thing. The former captain, Graham Smith from South Africa, was given the opportunity to captain South Africa, just about the third youngest captain in the history of Test cricket. A young man came in and got the opportunity to lead his country. At that time, South Africa went through a lean period. They even had removed Pollock after the World Cup, right? And put Smith to be the captain. A young man decided to invest in him. And when he retired at age 24, South Africa was the best test team in the world. And I can go on and go on. David Warner was more playing one day and 2020 cricket. They put him in the test team. Correct. And has been the most productive opening batsman in the history of Test cricket for Australia. Peterson was on the England one-day team. They've decided to put him in the Test team. And Peterson has been one of the best batsmen, the other day until Root now take over. So I'm saying that when you see somebody who is special, you have to invest. And invest is time. Not just to give somebody and because they have a little flaws. And what are you doing? You have imagined the best opening pair ever in the history of West Indies cricket. They're still alive. The West Indies board decide, bring Desmond Haynes. You had him as a selector, you remove him. You remove the panel as selector. You have a man who ain't even qualified to be a selector and is there, coach, selector, and everything.
Bring Haynes as a batting
not
consultant.
Not using the resources where Michael have his issues, whatever. As I said, great player. Lau had his lean period. Lau went to Sobers, spoke to Sobers. A little thing here and there where the outstanding great, the greatest cricketer the world would have seen. So Garfield Sobers just celebrated his 89th birthday. We are very proud of him because he got into the West Indies team, batted at number 9. And here this man now, tracked up after his 92 test matches, a whopping 26 centuries, 26 with over 200 test wickets. This outstanding great, right? And when he scored his first century in 1958, after he made the West Indies team in 1954 at the age of 17, 4 years he took from 1954 to 1958, from age 17 to age 21. And when he scored his first century, it was the world record at Sabina Park in Jamaica, breaking 364, making 365 not out, and it was just centuries after centuries because of an opportunity to give him to play. The former opening batsman for Australia, Watson was a lower order bowler who could do some batting, and Australia decided to give him the opportunity to open, and Watson became a very successful opening batsman for Australia. Many of the leaders, whether here, throughout the leagues and throughout the region, they don't have any vision. They do not have vision.
What do you think, Eustace, is a fair run to say, okay, this batsman, he's going through a lean form. Let us empathize and work with him. How many test matches do you think would you consider a fair amount to say, let us work with this guy, let us give him a run to get back in form?
You see, there are a lot of things that one have to take into consideration, because somebody can fail. But there's sometimes when you fail, that's why sometimes, like for instance, Marlon Samuel got into the West Indies team because of promises shown at the youth level. There's sometimes when there are players who are very special. You would have seen a player came on the scene in his first season, dominate a season, a first-class season, and went got into the West Indies team. When you look at it, which player in the West Indies team, outside of Hope, got into the West Indies team because of his success in one-day cricket? Yes, he has been an outstanding one-day player, right? So he got into the West Indies team because of his one-day performance, and think because, okay, he's a great player, so let me give him a chance. But when he came back to play for the Barbados team, they lost that first game that he represented Barbados against Jamaica in Barbados, right? And he didn't really do anything much to talk about, but continued to perform in the one-day game, and he got into the West Indies team. Brandon King, being a favorite of the coach, did nothing, has done nothing, continued to do nothing, and he continued to be in the West Indies team.
But isn't he the captain of the West Indies team in Afghanistan?
Not only that he in the West Indies team, he get to lead the West Indies team after doing nothing. Imagine. And look at where we are today. That people who are not even good enough to play are good enough to lead. I mean, it's a crisis where we are.
Boggling. I don't think anybody has come close to mastering the art of thinking how Sammy is thinking. Nobody seems to know what Sammy is thinking. Sammy seems to be the only one who's thinking whatever about the game, because the same Alec Athanaze and Kavem Hodge, when they came back from Pakistan, remember they were dropped. I don't believe they should have been dropped.
No.
Yes, they may not have made 100, but it was a difficult
But nobody
tour.
made any runs to talk about.
Yeah, but why drop the two of them? And they were young, and they are young, and they seem to have been two players who the West Indies wanted to invest in.
Well, correction.
Batting 4 and 5, 3 and 4,
correction.
whatever.
Atton is considered to be a young player. He's 26 around here, right? Hodge is around 33, 34, right? So in cricket, he's not considered a young player, right? Because he's getting into his mid-30s, and he's not to say well, he was a great player or have done wonders in the past to say, well, okay, we can continue with him. He perhaps got back into the team because of the lack of quality we have in the Caribbean, that almost anybody at any time, for any reason, can get back into the West Indies team or get into the West Indies team, right? Because we have people who have done not really anything you talk about special, because Samson, he's a hard-hitting player, but nothing really special. He don't really have the best of technique, yes, he's confident, he's positive, and if he plays and a pitch that maybe is true, you can play through the line, not really much you can get from the bowlers, he can have a very, very good night, a very good match. But on the other hand, if you come up, maybe on a pitch which is maybe balanced, having something for the batsman and the bowlers and things like that, and very good bowlers, a very good bowling attack, you can maybe find wanting.
You made a point earlier, I don't know if you remember this 16-year-old Shivnaran Krishnan from India, the leg spinner, mystery leg spinner. He was to be India's secret weapon, but he didn't have a long time, and I think he burst on the scene, and he had a little goodish performances, but he didn't last around on the scene a long time, though he may have had the potential, per se.
Well, you see, but when you look at it, when it comes to India, fortunately, I think per capita they have the most players. Perhaps one of the most populated country in the world, over 1 billion people. So you will
China,
find perhaps maybe thousands of people playing cricket down there. It's like a culture, for them, and they look up to many of the former greats, the Tendulkar and the former opening batsman who I consider to be the best opening batsman in the history of Test cricket, Gavaskar. And, there are many outstanding players. So India, why you think they are the only country where their players do not play in any other franchise league around the world? None of the Indian players them play outside of India, right? Because of the financial position that I believe that India, whether it's franchise level, the international level, the players them are very, very compensated based on their performance, if they have to represent perhaps their team, their communities, their country, and things like that. So
when you look at it, you see so many Indians who you don't know about playing in the IPL, not only playing but performing as well.
Right. There are people who, like for instance, Sharma. When Sharma got into the Indian team, Sharma had about 16 first-class centuries. How many West Indies players get into the West Indies team? Some of them with 1, 2, or none. Right?
There's a young 14-year-old, I think, from India. He's turning up things right now, in the same centuries after centuries and things like that.
The same one who scored the fastest century down there in the IPL last year.
Correct.
Created history, in India, because he scored the fastest century in India.
In the IPL.
In IPL for India. Only Chris Gale scored faster than him. And at 14, when he really and truly could have been in school.
Should have been in school.
And maybe perhaps his principal, and things like that gave him the opportunity to play, to represent his team. And at this time, imagine this guy, perhaps in that series, the kind of maybe wealth or finance he would have achieved in that series, at that age, at that stage. It is right for him and for India, because if at 14 you can dominate a tournament like that. I mean, he was playing like he was at least 10 years older, being in the team at that level, around 10 years experience behind him, and the guy played like a true champion. Congratulations to a young guy, and the future look bright. We have a lot of talent all around the world. Unfortunately, if you have to ask the very important question, how long do you think Test cricket will reign? Because imagine in Japan play cricket.
Italy.
Yes. And when the cricket get up there in the market in the USA, all what many players would be aiming for is to just go and play cricket, get the opportunity to make money, because it would have been about money and not about contribution.
It's like the Dubai and the Abu Dhabi T10 and T20 series as well.
Yeah.
Because I think in the T10 competition that just completed,
one
team had about 6-7 West Indians playing.
In England 2020, where you know the test, the one day 2020 10-10, it might go 5-5. I mean,
but Eustace, a few weeks ago, the West Indies indicated because of financial situations, they have to curb some competitions. For example, the female competition playing right now, the teams are only going to play 6 matches in the 20 overs. They're going to play the round robin between them, and then number 1 play 2, number 3 play 4, number 5 play 6. So each team is going to play 6 matches. If I'm not mistaken, I think for the 50 over, it's not a round robin affair. They're using this Swiss system, they call it, where each team is going to play 3 matches, but you will not play 2 others because of finance. The West Indies, from the regional 40, they've eliminated the combined campuses as well as the West Indies Academy team, again for financial reasons. They've scrapped the under 17. There used to be a West Indies under 17. They've scrapped that. So we are not playing enough cricket to compete against the Englands and the Australians who play in how many games. You're affecting the youth, which is your grassroots. We are already not performing West Indies. But how do you see all of that affecting the performance of the West Indies team going forward?
Well, some may argue that, as you rightfully said, there are some teams, the 2 teams, which are not part of the setup in terms of the tournament. So there are less matches. But on the other hand, when we had our world team, our world beaters, the best team in the world for 15 consecutive years, we had the same amount of matches, 6 teams, right? Fortunately, if you had a great team, where you had the best opening pair, the best middle order, the best batsman, the best wicket keeper, the best pace attack, and fortunately at that time they won the 2020 cricket, because if they were 2020 cricket, we might have to ask ourselves during that time, who will open either Desmond Haynes or Gordon Greenwich with Luther Kelly? When it comes to the 2020 game, Luther Kelly might have been first choice. We never know. Because, I mean, I am confident if we had the 2020 them time, I'm not too sure in terms of what it would have done to world cricket in terms of the standard, the players, because you would have had more, many more matches. And I don't know if the players them would have doing what these players are doing now, going for the money. Many of them not showing up for the West Indies team. They're playing so many. Look at it. We're going into a World Cup. But the West Indies one day cricketer, one day captain is not part of the team.
He gone South Africa for the T20.
Yeah.
The West Indies, they haven't, from what I understand, they haven't named their team as yet. They must be the only participant who have not named their team. I guess they're waiting to see how this team against Afghanistan goes. And earlier I did mention Afghanistan defeated West Indies twice in one day. In the ICC under 19 World Cup, Afghanistan team, well, I wouldn't even call that a defeat. They made 200 plus and bowled out the West Indies for 120 something, I think it was. While the senior team also defeated, the senior Afghanistan team also defeated the West Indies team. But a problem that I believe, or some of the problems that I
And
believe
the
have
second
been
match
haunting us,
coming up tomorrow.
some of the problems that I believe have been haunting us, Eustace, shot selection, head. I've seen it recently. I think it's in this Afghanistan match. Guys trying to sweep off the center stump. Sweeping off the center stump. Yes, if you catch the ball, it looks good. Chances I may get a boundary.
But it's a risk.
It's a 50-50 chance. 50-50 chance.
Yeah, it's a risk. If the ball is on the stump and you miss, you get bowler LBW. Leg before wicket.
And we still see batters going a wide ball outside the off stump. I mean, ball bouncing and man standing up on the toes, edging it back to the keeper. Once the ball starts bouncing outside the off stump, you shoulder arms.
Yes, yeah.
But we see him from head. And one or two of the tours ago, they had I forgot what they're talking. Maybe a mental coach or something to that, to deal with the thinking. I thought that was an excellent idea. My concern was, would he be able to get into the head of the players? Because that's where most of our problems lie. Shot selection, match analysis. A bad ball is a bad ball, should be put away any day of the week. However,
and many times the bad ball get people out.
Exactly. And we keep chasing balls all the way out there. We keep sticking out the bat out there, getting caught. So I'm certain if research is done, we get out caught from more balls that shouldn't get a wicket than what get a wicket. So how could we really fix that?
Well, I mean, yes, the players themselves are responsible in terms of their action, their decisions. As you rightfully said, shot selection sometimes, happen to be their downfall. And sometimes, just being impatient, you want to make a century in 1 over, which is impossible because the most runs you can get in 1 over, if it's a legal over, is 36, right? So, it's a matter of using your discretion wisely, being patient, being positive, confident in whatever you do. Yes, that you can deliver, but you have to use your discretion because there are times when perhaps maybe the bowler, sometimes even in matches where no unknown bowler happened to have a good match, right? Lara took wickets and so had thing. Even the just recent former West Indies Test captain Brathwaite, there are times when he bowled and he had a very good match, but that don't make him a specialist bowler. There are times when bowlers, when people who can bowl get wicket, and there are times when people who can bat make runs, right? So Gillespie, the former bowler for Australia, was not even considered to be an all-rounder, but he scored a double 100. So you can't say because he was not a batsman, he was not considered an all-rounder, that he couldn't score a double 100, because he scored a double 100, right? And it recorded in Test cricket under his name, for his team, for his country, So, it's just a matter of, yes, being patient. How much the leadership in the West Indies, what they are doing to help these players. As I said, you have tremendous talent throughout the region, former players still around, still available, and there are many players who are around, perhaps did not play for the West Indies team, but they are still they are outstanding players who can really make a serious contribution. And what about the mental support? Psychologically and otherwise, and so you had remember the West Indies team used to have this psychology. Rudy Webster, and he was there for many years. I think that would have been a plus, a benefit for the players, because sometimes they are maybe physically strong, other areas being strong, but they are mentally weak because of their such selection and discretion, being impatient and different things. So,
but the funny thing about that, Eustace, with the West Indies on the 19 tournament here in the earlier last year, you saw some of the same indiscretions, injudicious shots being played by the West Indies on the 19 as well. I am thinking because they're seeing the senior players playing them and they idolize the senior players. But it is telling me that if you're doing it under the 19, are you going to really look to cut it out as you progress into the senior team?
But when you look at it also, too, with this 2020 cricket, they even want to put 2020 in primary school. So they are teaching the people them to make runs and not how to bat.
It's all about runs and not technique.
Right. And for you to last. Because you have to be in the wicket to make runs. So when you go at maybe making a quick 20, a quick 30 and whatever, in the longer run, it might be, sometimes it might be short-term gain, but it could be long-term pain. Right? So the kind of support that I think that the West Indies board maybe should have had, imagine Courtney Ambrose, who would, definitely, if I am going to pick my whole 11, there are 2 West Indies fast bowlers who will be in that 11, which I can name my whole 11 of all time, right, in Test cricket, right? And there are many greats who will not be in that 11, because all greats can be in the same, in one 11. Even if you pick a West Indies 11, there are many greats who will not be in it, because only 11 could be selected, So, but we have talent. It is sometimes because of leadership, because of management, because of support or lack of support, guidance and those kind of things, why there are times when you get the results that we get and we got over the years because of lack of management, leadership, vision, and support,
I saw a piece a gentleman did, and I really admired his research. He went and he dug up the West Indies for a 15-year period, I think it was. And he ultimately said, and that we had the greats involved during those 15 years, but the results were the same. And he actually listed who we had when, who was coach, who was manager, who was this, who was somewhere involved, some part, and I liked it. I have to put my hand on it and play it. So, and I said that because over the years we've changed coaches, we've changed players, we even changed the administration. But the same things keep happening. We are losing, and it's not just how we are it's not just that we are losing, it's how we are losing. Being bowled out for 27. And I don't think West Indians or the West Indian fans would mind terribly too much if West Indies lose, If they put up a fight, like we carried a test match into 5 days, how more often can we do that? And then you come back, and you said it earlier, we are consistent at being inconsistent. I just say West Indies make 500 runs these past couple of days and can come back tomorrow and make 150. And they've done it. Seldom we see batters, for example, getting a century in both innings of a match. Mm-hmm. Seldom we see 3 batters getting a century in the same innings. In the Sri Lanka game, yes, I think it was against Japan, in the Under 19 World Cup, they had up 300 and something without loss. one of the openers made 100 and something, and the other opener made 192, I think it was, which is the highest score in under 19 World Cup. Yes, it is against Japan, who known for everything else except the cricket, but other teams had the opportunity to play against Japan as well. And so where and how could we really start turning these things around, turning the corners around? Yes, remember we beat Australia a few years ago in that last test match. First time in 20-something years we beat Australia in Australia. But what has happened? They come down here a couple of years later, bowl us out for 27.
And, well, we would have done and had that success in Australia, which is, for the last 10, 15 years, we have some success at different time. As you rightfully say, that very important test match we won, mainly by an individual who happened to had a very good game. Joseph, in that particular game, right, on a good pitch, which really helped him a lot. And sometimes a player can just, have real success, whether as a player, whether as a bowler, as a batsman, as a wicket keeper. You can have a very good day. You can have a very good match, right? And what is how you continue with that success? Because he has never been the same. He got all kind of opportunity, and you can't believe that is the Sharma we saw in Australia, right? We are now Jeremiah Louis, who would have done so much, in the past. Given one opportunity to play a test match, he was given an opportunity in the team.
In the squad,
I think he might have played one of the matches in England, but he
himself got injured.
Got injured. And
at least so we are told. At least so we are told.
Yeah, because sometimes you wonder how transparent the West Indies, whether it's the board, the management, the selectors. We have a lot of as we wind down our first program for the new year
marathon program.
We appreciate for Master Control.
Raspy of tough house sounds.
Extra time. We started a little late, and we are happy for the opportunity as much as possible time. We will never have enough time because there's so much which we still...
Do you want to take a final call, Eustace?
Yeah, we can take a call. It's also about the callers, and everybody, word and input is very important. So thanks for calling, and good evening. You are our last caller.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. I've been just tuned in and heard my good friend Eustace on board. I want to support him, want to lend my support. I didn't hear all of the discussion that went on, but he raised some very, very, very interesting points. I think we've been raising these things here over the past several years. I want to really take it slightly different here, if you don't mind. And we need to look at solutions. What is causing this? And I think we alluded to some of it, but we only alluded to it after the guys have reached, I would say, first-class level or playing that level. You can't really get guys to change the bad habits when they reach at that stage. And that's the reason why I've been advocating all the time, over and over, that over the past 15 years plus, we have not really identified the solution to improve our youngsters since the T20. We need to get the youngsters be mental, batting resilience, mental toughness, the techniques. To me, when they get that fundamental, they can always start experimenting when they reach first class, first division, and professional level. And there's no programs locally. I hear we hit in West Indies all the time, and West Indies, they're really at the pinnacle. But before they reach West Indies level, I am simply saying, guys, that we need to develop through West Indies board, through Leaker, Leeward Islands board rather, because not Leaker anymore. Right? Are you there? Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, I just want to make sure because I didn't hear feedback. I'm not hearing you guys.
We're
And
listening.
to the local board, to the local cricket, right? Where we have a program going right to the region, the same thing. We have to bring back serious competition between the youngsters, preschool, primary school, and high school, high school cricket. If we don't do that, and get the kids playing 2 days, get the kids being mentally strong, you're not going to get me out. So when they reach beyond that, the fundamentals and the techniques are already in there for them. Not when they reach up here telling don't go off the line, or play straight, or do this or do that. When they've been practicing this kind of thing, knocking 4s and 6s in the field, that's how they win the game because it's T20, that they see on TV all the time. So I'm saying all the time, guys, and we'll continue to say, we have to get a strong grassroots, high school, preschool, primary school cricket in place right around the island. And if we have to be the catalyst, if we have to be the one who first do it, let us be. Because this have to go to the whole region. Serious competition, and then the youngsters will bring their parents and bring their adults. And that is what I will challenge you guys and ask you guys for us to advocate. This is where we got to go. A 3-5 year program along with coaches. Not just support, not the kids they're playing on their own. You must also do the same thing for coaches. Certification, different levels. They work hand in hand, and the other officials and umpires and so on will come on board. You know? It's a lot of stuff we need to do. We need a overhaul, complete reconstruction of how cricket is being advocated here. We need to get the Commentators Association. We need to get the Umpires Association, the Commentators Association, be part of the same Cricket Association. Everything must be under one umbrella. We must come together as a team. Not the umpires got one man come in and the commentators select who they want. And some of them are not members of the Cricket Association. All of them is nonsense. Everything's supposed to come together under one. That is what we want to say. Man, I'll pause here and allow you guys to talk. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
If you got any questions, I could answer them now. If you guys have any questions, let me on that.
Before I allow Eustace.
Well, it so happened, which, yes, I want to thank Mr. James for your always, very good contribution. And it so happened that we are getting close to the end of our
At the end,
program.
actually, not getting close.
Just about there, yeah. So we want to thank you so much, and we look forward for your support and contribution going forward. There's so much that we have to discuss, whether locally, especially because we have to dance a yard before we dance abroad, right. And there's so much that we need to get right here in our country in terms of at the national level, our local players. There's a lot that we need to get addressed because I am not happy for what has taken place over the last 5 to 10 years and more. No to the cricket, and to see that our players are coming through, are doing well. So it tells you that if they were given more opportunity, we definitely would have had far more success.
I mean, forgive me for cutting you here again. What I'm saying is that, right? You have a training program in the park, and you have a few youngsters, you have a few young ladies down there. Have you heard anything on the radio? Have you heard it advertised? Have you heard anybody come on the radio and have interview with the young ladies? To bring that momentum, to let people know that this thing's happening on a regular basis?
But even not so much to interrupt you, but it's very important that even when we have matches here, we are not even hearing anything.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, I've been at one instance and you bring another one. We could go and call and number them like this. What I'm saying is that when you're having a program like that you're trying to promote, you need to get it on the radio morning, noon, and night. You need to let the people know, let the youngsters know that, look, these are programs we have for you guys. Come on down, register and so on, have little incentives and so on to get the youngsters out. I just got it down here, got about 10, 12 ladies down there, 4 or 5 hours down there. And nobody know about it. And you're going to come in a meeting and you're going to say, oh, we have a program that I want to pack and this and that. Nobody know about it. This is the kind of issue I'm talking about. I'm talking about the local development.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cricket is the governing, the St. Kitts Cricket Association is the governing body of cricket. They got to lead from the front. They got to write programs. They got to contact, cooperate, St. Kitts, the chamber of commerce. They got to write to them, let us keep on writing, keep on talking. You have champion games the last Sunday there,
Sunday gone.
right? Yeah, right? Did anybody had a pre-interview with the captain to let people know what's going on in the park? Did you hear anything? Tonight.
Neither before nor after. And very important. And Mr. James, very important. Troy made, which he stated correctly, that we are just about to celebrate 100 years.
Exactly.
What are you hearing? What are the preparation? What are the awareness and and things like that?
Nothing was mentioned in the last meeting, the so-called meeting, right, that they had at 1 o'clock. They didn't even call it the AGM, you know. They said meeting with members.
Members is
so
meeting.
In truth and fact, that wasn't even an official meeting. That's a problem, right? Nothing was mentioned about plans. Nothing was mentioned about what's going on. Any ideas coming here about what we need to do for the 100th anniversary from a cricket standpoint?
Well,
what I'm saying is that, guys, leadership
Yes.
is a serious problem that we have right now in cricket for years.
Well, the elections for St. Kitts Cricket Association should be this year, according to the Constitution, and I'll argue the last 3 elections were unconstitutional because the Constitution says elections must happen every 2 years in the even year. We've had it in 2021, 2023, and 2025. And I understand why it was 2021 because of COVID. I said it was illegal because the resolution to change the date from 2020 to 2021 should have been done by the General Assembly. That resolution was made by the executive.
We went to that already. We went to all of that.
But that's one thing. But apart from that, Calvin, you mentioned something about the Commentators Association.
Yeah.
About 2 years in a row, when we've been hosting the West Indies Under 19 male and female back in 2023, I think it was, and 2024, I made the suggestion because I was giving commentary. Guys, I think we need to consider forming a Commentators Association for various reasons, including training and developing ourselves as commentators. And with the view that when big games come here, we don't have some people in Trinidad sitting down in front of TV, commentating from what they see.
And they don't know the history of Warner Park and the players who played in Warner Park.
But guess what, Calvin?
They don't know anything what's going on in every other island. You got a local commentator there, except St. Kitts.
But guess what happened?
And the other thing again with that, sorry to interrupt you like this, Troy. The other thing with that, you can't have commentators commentating the game and the day another member of the St. Cricket Association. They must pay fees. Anybody who's getting, in my suggestion, and let me make this clear, I didn't say it before, I'm going to say no. Anyone who is getting a paid position with the St. Kitts Cricket Association who's paying them, there must be a member of the St. Kitts Cricket Association in the first instance.
Not a bad idea.
You're getting paid, if you're a gate man, you're getting paid, if
caterer,
you're a taxi guy, you're getting paid, every one of those persons, the first instance, must be a member of the St. Kitts Cricket Association.
Not a bad suggestion.
If nobody applied or nobody is qualified,
then you put it out in the open.
A member of the Cricket Association, then you go outside to the public. You can't have guys outside there who just coming in there, right, and getting money, and they're not supporting our cricket. And they just sit inside there and everybody doing it for years and years and years. You see people over and over making all the money. Nobody else can make money in Cricket Association. What if we get them for membership? And I'm not looking for me, you know. I ain't looking for no job. But I'm saying that it's about time that we get the members on board and let the members know what benefits they're getting for paying the fees. And if we have people inside who are qualified in painting, who are qualified in vendor, who's qualified in at the gate, who's qualified in taxi, they need to get a chance to at least tender. Should be a tender process. You can't just go and pick your body because you're part of the fraternity. That's nonsense.
And
This
when
is
you,
the point of bringing it. We need to open up the St. Gregory Association to the people who pay the fees.
and Calvin,
And we have general meetings.
you don't get a job to provide to cater, but then you're gonna ask to cater free. But we have just seconds before we run off, thank Calvin. But
Yep.
with the Commentators Association, a few of the commentators said point blankly they are not interested in joining any Commentators Association, forming any Commentators Association.
Therefore, they shouldn't be given no commentator job unless it's West Indies might be the person who applied them or league or whoever it is. But as a representative of St. Kitts cricket, they should be able to write to Leeward Islands Board or West Indies Board and say we have a policy
Correct.
that we must have at least one person on the board for commentary for whichever series we have, whichever matches we have.
For development of our commentators. But
Exactly.
finally,
And background information about the country.
exactly.
They don't know about the country, they don't know about Warner Park. We're gonna history of Warner Park to say who did what, who was the icon, who was this, who was the Leeward and Ricardo. Nothing at all. They're saying the same thing over and over. They're talking nonsense sometimes when you listen to the commentary.
I'll tell you this, Calvin. I had the pleasure and privilege of commentating with Andrew Mason at Warner Park for some game. And Andrew does his research, but not only that, he asks you a question to sell yourself and your history and your country. You see, I've been hearing a lot about Brimstone Hill. What's so special about Brimstone Hill? What might appear to be a simple, casual question, and he knows the answer, but he wants you, the local, to sell yourself, sell the country, like what you're saying. And finally, Calvin, in terms of suggestions for Warner Park, I don't know if I'm at liberty to say it, but the Minister of Sports, the Honorable Samuel Duggins, he has invited some stakeholders, I can't say who, let me say some stakeholders. He has invited stakeholders to a meeting about the vision for Warner Park and maybe the celebrations, as you mentioned. And as president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association, I got such invitation, which we have responded. We are elated, as a matter of fact, to have this opportunity, because we need a home for table tennis. And if they're going to build anything in Warner Park, we're hoping that we could get some place to play and some place to store our stuff, because I have table tennis equipment home by me. The former coach who died on Saturday, he got table tennis home by him. The former president got table tennis equipment home by him. The treasurer got equipment home by him. Paul got equipment over there. Harry got equipment over there. And so we're going to work in with that. But Calvin, thank you for calling. I have to give Eustace the last 30 seconds to wrap up, please.
I understand.
Okay, thanks for listening and thanks for calling.
Yeah, right.
Yes, Eustace, you have 30 seconds.
Yeah, thanks, Calvin, for your contribution. And we look forward to in hearing from you and for us to continue the discussion. I want to thank you, Troy, for the opportunity to share to the listeners and to the general public. It is very important that we continue the discussion. There's so much that we have to say about cricket here, especially locally. I am not happy for what I have seen over the last 10 to 15 years, and there are a lot of work that we have to do, and the leadership definitely have to lead, and we are looking forward for a lot to change in going forward, a lot to be done in going forward. Our players who would have achieved, I wish they were given the opportunities like to be ambassadors like Jazario and the Louis brothers, to be ambassadors in terms of sports ambassadors for the country, that I think would send a strong message for our young people and our country, because sports has a lot of benefit, success, whether financially, physically, you name it. Sports is very, very important to an individual, a family, a community, and by extension, the country. So I thank you for this opportunity. I look forward where we can continue, because we would, I believe, scratch the surface. We mention, we discuss, we interact, we share, we educate, we inform tonight. But we have to continue the discussion. So thank you very much, and very pleasant good evening to the many listeners all around the world who tuned in, and perhaps many who still stay with us to the end, and we look forward for you to join us. And we ask you to stay safe, to do what is right, to stay positive, and to continue to be the best that you can. Take care and have a good night.
Eustace, I must thank you for availing yourself to be here. No stranger to the program at all. And every time we speak, every time I have you on here, I'm amazed with the wealth of knowledge, the wealth of history you have, and you keep spitting it out. And persons may think that you have a laptop or you're checking your phone. That's not the case. To say Chris Gale made how much, what he and against who, and it's just... that's not one of my strongest areas, but I commend you highly for that, having that information up there and having it easily accessible. Of course, I don't think I've had anybody on the program more than you, and in some cases at very short notice, and I appreciate that, and I thank you for that. And it's actually, I hope I'm not accused of having it be a cricket show, because it is a sports show where we cover sports. And the year started, it's a new year. I say Happy New Year to everybody. Unfortunately, we weren't here last week, even though January is almost at an end. Today we only have 11 months. Oh, and I forgive me. I must thank my producer Raspy of Tough House Sound. Last week he was here, and he basically had on the ball show for about an hour, because he interviewed some guests, and I even start wondering if he planned to take my job, because he was sounding really, really wonderful. He did a really awesome, excellent job.
And we need to commend him.
Yes.
But I just want to say that, yes, today is the 20th of January, meaning that we have 345 more days in 2026. Some have started the new year with us, and they are not around today. There are people who are grieving, and we pray for these families. We wish them the best in this difficult time. And those who out there who are celebrating whether an anniversary or birthday, we also say congratulations to them celebrating these important milestones. And we hope that God will continue to bless them, and they will enjoy the rest and make the best of their few hours that left on their special occasion.
Thank you very much. And yes, we didn't do that. We didn't big up the birthday celebrants' anniversaries and extend the condolences, save and except to the family of the late Urban Egbert Freeman, a table tennis coach, a career teacher, and he is very active in the Rivers of Living Water Church, and a tremendous loss to the table tennis fraternity. He's one of the persons I could have called 2 o'clock in the morning to say, hey, we want some coaching 2:30. He might tell me, boy, I can't make it 2:30, I'll make it 2:45. Give me a chance to get me act together. And very extremely dependable, and he's going to be a tremendous loss. He will not be forgiven, and at some point we'll find ourselves to actually have some competition named after him, as we're planning to do with other persons. So condolences to Mrs. Amelia Freeman, his wife, to Andre Freeman, his son, Angelisa Freeman, his daughter, and the members of the Freeman and Freeman Table Tennis Club, as well as all the players he taught table tennis, he coached over the years, and his students and the school. It was indeed a pleasure having you here, the first edition for 2026, and hopefully God's spare. We will be with you again next week, Tuesday, from 7 to 9 p.m. on the ball here at WINN FM 98.9. As I slip away, I must thank my producer, Raspy of Tough House Sounds, doing an excellent job as usual. And I encourage you to always be positive in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. Thank you for listening.
Let's Get Real on WINN FM. Hi, this is Lavi. Let's Get Real, Wednesday nights at 8 on WINN FM. Get ready for an hour of real talk that will keep you engaged and informed, bringing you insights, the hottest topics of the moment, and perspectives that matter from the runway to the political arena. Real Talk with Lavi covers it all. Let's Get Real, Wednesday nights at 8 on WINN FM.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.